All right, we are ready to rock and roll. Let me find it over here. Ah, ah, ah. Let's see, let's see. No, there we go. Ignore the first one. Ignore the first one. Let me share this. Let's see. This will let me. Oh, okay. Let's see what we got going on. We are live. Welcome, welcome. Hang on one second. I'm going to share my screen. All right, let's go. I'm going to pull it up. Ready, rock and roll. So today we are talking about something great. You know, I always say that, but it's true. It is so true. We are talking about visualization. So some people are going to say hooky hooky. Some people are going to say it's not what it's not what people do. However, it's not true. Lots and lots and lots of people do this. I'm trying something new today. I'm going to try to share this with a PDF. And if you don't see me in the comments, I don't know what's going on with my account, but it just blocked me again. Yesterday, it did the same thing. So if you don't see me in the comments, I'll be in there later. All right, share screen. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, can everybody see my screen? Oh, talking about that, I think I forgot to put in what's coming next. I did, and now I don't even remember the name of it. All right, I'll put it on below the video. All right, so 6 steps to transform your vision into reality. The vision mapping method. See it, believe it, achieve it. Visualization turns dreams into realities. So I think a lot of us kind of maybe know it, believe it, but don't practice it. And here's what I want to talk about today more than anything is, yes, is it a refresher for a lot of you? Yes. But how many of you are actually putting it into practice on a daily basis? So as we go through today, that's really what I want you to have in the back of your mind. If you're taking notes, woo, woo, woo. I would love to see somebody's notes when you guys take notes. This is an acronym, as always. So if you want to put your guess in, put it down below. I cannot comment on it at the moment, but put it there anyway. I'll be back in later. Anyway, something that we should all put into practice, visualization. So we really want to make sure that we are intentional, that we're thinking about it, that we know exactly what we want to do. I wonder if I can. Let me stop sharing. Wish I could see my thing, but I can't. Hopefully, I'll ask you later. Hopefully, you guys can see the whole presentation and not all the crazy stuff on the top. But if you can see all the crazy stuff, you already know I'm crazy. All right, so let's move on. What do these people have in common? You already know the answer, let's be honest, but what do these people have in common? So Oprah Winfrey, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, before he was in before he was in politics, before he was in TV, he was Mr. Olympia, I think it was called. And I think it was like 7 times. And he started training for that when he was a little boy. And he had this picture in his head of exactly what he needed to and wanted to look like to be able to win this competition. There was some famous guy that he knew of, and that was his kind of direction for the picture in his mind. But I mean, he accomplished it. And whether you believe in his politics or not, neither here nor there. I mean, he's accomplished a great deal of stuff. I mean, think about the accent, right? How heavy was that accent? He got into Hollywood, politics, two of the things that you might think, oh, I can't do that because I have an accent. So I really love him as an example because I hear that a lot. For those of you that don't know me, I have a small language school, and it's one of the things that I feel like people let hold them back when it definitely shouldn't. I mean, put the blinders on and just move forward. Don't worry about it. Will it bother some people? Absolutely. Do my eyelashes bother some people? 100%. Don't worry about it. You do you be you, and move forward because you have something that can help other people. And so if you're letting this person over here dictate whether you help this person over here, that's just wrong, right? That's just wrong. Don't let that happen. And it's on you. It's all on you. You have to be the one to bring yourself out of believing what other people are saying. I'm messing with my microphone. You have to be the one that brings yourself out of believing what other people are saying or thinking. Don't worry about it. You know what's working. Make sure you have that circle around you. And I'm not talking about family and friends, but of people who understand your goal and what you're after, that understand that and that can give you valuable advice, really help you move to that next level instead of trying to be nice, but telling you you're going to fail. And that's what a lot of people would do to spare your feelings. I'll bet Arnold Schwarzenegger got that a ton. I cannot imagine how many people told him, you're insane. There's no way that you can be a Hollywood actor. I'm sure he heard that a million times. Oprah Winfrey, back in the day, how many people told her you can forget about it? There's no way as a Black woman that you can, I don't even know if she was dreaming as big as she got. She probably wasn't even at the beginning. But at the beginning, I'll bet it was hard. I'll bet there were people telling her she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. And she did it. So all of these people, Serena Williams on the left, Michael Phelps, I read a lot of the gold books. Tell me below if you've read, I'm not going to think of either, the 2 big gold books, the 2 biggest ones. I just finished another one. I've reread both of them like a million times. The fact that I don't know their names is terrible. Anyway, he's in both of them, but he's a great example because he too started when he was very young. He had a trainer that got a hold of him when he was like 12 and really honed him in on the skill of visualization. And he won gold medals way before he ever even entered the Olympics in his mind. So it's pretty powerful, pretty cool. All right, here we go. We're starting. If you're writing down your letters, this is an easy one. Give me your guesses below. V, visualize your end goal. So where do you see yourself in 10 years? And if you're 20, you might say, where do you see yourself in 30 years, 50 years, whatever it is that you want to say. Where do you see yourself in a certain amount of years? Let's see. So, if you are my age, sometimes I do 5 years, sometimes I just like to say, where do I see myself in 5 years? So that, I'm not stressing myself out. Okay, Kimberly. I wasn't sure if you saw this on my main page. I was trying to see if you could share it into the group. as yourself. So, all right. It should be on the real Eric O'Leary on Facebook. The real Eric O'Leary. See it over there. Thank you. All right. Let me get this out of the way, get this fathom out of the way. You know, when you go live on Facebook, there's like a million things. Okay, so where do you see yourself in 10 years? I put 10 years, I think that's a good number. So I would say go big or go home, shoot for the stars. You know, you might land on the moon. You've heard that before. I think that we need to, if that's like, oh my God, no way, that's way too big. Okay, really a little bit. I'm not saying you have to go so big that you don't think it's even possible. I think you should go so big that it scares you and that you're like, when you want to tell somebody else about it, like they're going to think I'm crazy. I think you should go that big for sure in your vision mapping, 100%. I think one of the problems is when we think of where we want to go, we think of, you know, something so realistic. It's not even that difficult to get to. So how motivating is that, number one? And is it holding you back? Could you have done 10 times that had you set your sights 10 times that? If you have ever listened to or read Grant Cardone, 10X, he, love him or hate him, he's super successful. And one of the things he says is he wasn't 10Xing back in the day. And he thinks that, you know, wow, I wish I was. I'm sure he started young enough, but you know what I mean? If you can 10X your thoughts and your vision of where you're going, and then start going for that, imagine how much farther you'll get. And if it kind of gives you that like, cringe, but think about it in terms of your clients, not yourself, right? So instead of saying, I want to make $1 million, or I want to make $1 million a month, or I want to own an empire, or I maybe you can say, I want to help 1,000 people. I want to help 1 million people, and then go into how you can do that. Make that your vision, because if you can bring in what you're going to do to help somebody else, a lot of times for the coaches out there, a lot of times that is a lot easier to look at. Okay, if I really go 10X on this, I can 10X how many people I'm helping. Maybe you're going to help so many people, and you're going to, you know, do so much in, you know, Tony Robbins, how many people he feeds. Some people put water wells in other countries. You know, education. How much could you support education? There's a company out of Atlanta that I love their concept, and they're teaching in public schools entrepreneurship, and they have an entirely new way of helping. So for me, that's where I would spend my money, right? Where do you want to spend your money? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? What do you want to do? So if it's hard for you to look at you, look at how many people you can help. How can you help them? Go outside of that. And when you can really do that, you're going to be able to 10X it a lot more. And that's also, you know, your why. Remember that when you can't get out of bed, when you crashed and burned so bad, you just don't want to see anybody's face. Remember that, because it's not about you. It's about them, right? All right, the next one. Okay, I already hate this PDF idea. The next one, identify key objectives. And I wrote smarter goals. Why? When you figure out what your objectives are, you want to really get it down to the nitty gritty. You want to, so with my clients right now, we are implementing the 12-week year. Give me a 12-week if you've ever done it, or if you want to do it, if you're interested, let me know. We're implementing the 12-week year, and it is going to be amazing. I'm going to do it over and over and over, but this is the first round that we're trying it out, and I'm excited about it. Why? Number one, we started with our SMART goals. We got it down to 3 goals, and that's it. That's all we're going to focus on for the next 12 weeks straight. And then we made them smarter, and the ER is evaluate. The R is either recommit or rewards. I encourage you to do a little bit of both, right? Once you evaluate, you want to recommit or give yourself rewards. But one of my clients had a great idea yesterday. I believe in rewarding yourself as you go. Like, think of those weekly rewards you can get. We're tracking percentages. So if you can hit, you know, above a certain percentage, or maybe 5% more than last year. If you're nowhere close to the percentages you want to be, okay, don't penalize yourself for that. You can't change it overnight, but you can get better overnight, right? You can be 1% better today from today tomorrow. So maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to be 7% better next week, or 10%, or whatever it is. Do something like that. So smarter goals, make them smarter, make them relevant, make them actionable, make them give yourself deadlines, so timely. Just make sure they're very, very S specific and measurable, right? And then the E is evaluate. So you want to have a time period of when you evaluate. So once you think of your key objectives to get to your vision, right? If it's 10 years away, that's so far away. It's very hard to see. And if you've read the 12-week year, even a year sometimes is too hard to really see and to motivate you, because you think I've got 10 years to do that. Well, all of a sudden it's 5 years away and you're like, I haven't even started. So you don't want to let that happen. You want to make sure that you dial it back as much as you humanly can, so that, let me see. Okay. I hope I didn't pop that up. All right. So you want to make sure that you dial it back as much as you possibly can, down to the week, the month, the quarter. So go from the years, if you're at 30 years, go to 10 years, 15 years, maybe 10 years, 5 years, 3, 1, maybe you can do 2, 1, however you want to do it. Quarters, months, weeks, days. All right. Get it all the way down and then evaluate. How often are you going to evaluate? Set that into your plan. I'm evaluating daily and weekly and. I believe in going the whole 9, right? But maybe you're like, that's way too much. I'm just going to evaluate weekly. That's cool. With my team and with my group, with my team and with my clients, I'm doing a weekly evaluation. So that's what you can do too. Awesome. And then the R, have those rewards. Oh, and what I started to say was my client. So I think you should have little rewards along the way, maybe mini milestones, maybe the weekly, hitting that percentage more rather than where you want to be, right? Don't wait till you get to the end to give yourself a reward. That's way too far away. But another thing you could do is give yourself mini rewards for doing the do, right? So if there's something you dread doing, like my client was talking about, she's dreading going out there in the DMs and actually, moving people into sales calls. So she's going to give herself a reward after she does, a 1 hour of that. She gets a reward for doing the 1 hour of that. And she's come up with like a little healthy treat that she loves that she's going to give herself after that. So I love that idea. You can think of little ways to reward yourself throughout the day that align with your key objectives and your goals. That's really smart thinking. All right. S. So we're at VIS. Who doesn't know it? Put it down below. VIS. Strategize your path. So map out potential obstacles and solutions. Think of this ahead of time. Again, so with my clients, we're doing the 12-week year. This is one of the things we're talking about. What's going to stop you? Because my obstacles are not the same as your obstacles, right? However, maybe you've been through my obstacles before. So in our mastermind, we're talking about that. Like how have you been through that? Maybe I can help you, or I can help, you know what I'm saying? It goes around. Everybody's had different experiences in life. Everybody's been through different things. So what are those obstacles and what are the solutions? I have put, I thought of my own obstacles and I put a ton of solutions in place ahead of time. We're starting next week. So ahead of time, so that I'm ready to rock and roll and hopefully just jumping right over those obstacles or not even running into them. But I've also got the daily, weekly measurements so that I can, and team and clients, meetings, so that I can get over those obstacles and find the solutions if I don't already know them. All right, I implement action steps, 1%. You hear me say it all the time, right? I just said it actually, didn't I? So 1%, that's all you really need. Don't don't get into overwhelm. Don't get into overwhelm by thinking you can do it all. Most of the time you can't, and it just either freezes you in your tracks or gets you into overwhelm. So, start. So if you can't figure out where you are or where you need to be in your steps, right? Then get some help with that. I'd love to do it. I'd love for you to work with us. But if it's not me, find somebody else to help you figure out, okay, let's map up those steps. And then what are the actions? Take them, and remember 1%. They don't have to be enormous actions. If you were on one of my calls the other day, I was talking about, it might've been last week's Elevate Engage. I can't remember, but I was talking about how if you're creating your goals, sometimes it's creating the habit that is way more important than actually creating the goal. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I need to form a couple of habits that I do over and over and over in my business, and I'm having a hard time doing it. So I am way more focused on forming that habit than on the results that I get from whatever it is that I'm doing. So just to explain this a little bit, we all talk about exercise, right? So if you're like, I'm going to run a marathon, you're not going to decide to go out and run 6 miles tomorrow. But if you can say, all right, every day when I get out of bed, I'm going to put my sneakers on immediately before I brush my teeth. I'm going to get up and put my sneakers on. Maybe you have your workout clothes next to your bed. Whatever, you hear me. Maybe that's one of the habits that you get into. And then in a week or two, you turn that into, okay, now this is, I've got my groove on with this. And now I'm going to add, I'm going to get up, put my shoes on, and I'm going to actually go down, to the end of my driveway or to the end of the block or whatever it is that you want to do. It can be baby steps. And like a 2-minute rule is really good. If you can do it in under 2 minutes, it's going to be a lot easier to create a habit around it. So if it's the habit that you need, I mean, obviously you need this too, but maybe you really need to focus on this, because sometimes we can get in that spiral and never come out because we keep focusing on that. And it's, bum, 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 and we can't get out of it. Whereas if you just focused on this for, 2 weeks or 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is, form that habit, then you can stack on top of that. Then you've got it going on. And maybe that's where you're at. Let me know if that is one of your obstacles. I know it's one of mine. All right. Is there, Kaliri? So some people I've met, some places I've been along the way. I started back in 2007. For those of you that don't know me, I started a digital marketing agency, and so many lessons learned. Did I fail? Sure. So many times. My first client, who I'm still friends with today, I lost so much money. so much money. He never knew that I lost money. I didn't care to share it with him, but I didn't have everything in place. I didn't have it all figured out, and you don't need to either. That's not the point. The point is, going for it, moving forward, just figuring it out as you go, having people in your corner that can help you when you're stuck. That is really, really crucial. That helps a lot. I cannot tell you how much that helps. Somebody that you can just like call and say, hey, I have this, massive issue. How can I get out of it? Or what can I do? Or, what's my next step? How do I move forward? Anything like that. So those are all really great things. So stages I've been on, I'm thinking about getting back into guest podcasting, which none of these are, but if you Google me, you'll see some. I'm thinking about getting back into that a little while. So we'll see. Next one, observe and adapt. So feedback loops. You're like, oh my God, how many times are you going to mention feedback loops? All the time, over and over. So what is marketing if not repetitive? And that's exactly what I want to get in your head. A lot of the things that are going to make you a success are not these new tactics, these like amazing, cool ideas that are coming in. Will AI help you out? Absolutely. Oh, 100%. Should you be using it? Definitely. Should you add it to what you're doing? Yes. But do you need a strategy? Do you still need to have the tried and true, understand what marketing is and be able to figure out what those steps are to get you to where you want to go? Yes, you do. You really, really do. So feedback loops are one of the ways to be able to do that. Feedback loops are ask and change. Feedback loops get some feedback in the way of polls, surveys, what's the word I'm looking for? Referrals. That's a feedback loop in a way. I like the more open ones. Ask a question and see if people answer it. And always keep in mind where you're at. If you send an email out asking a question and nobody answers, is that because everybody hates what you're doing? Or has nobody ever answered and you just don't have enough people or enough engagement yet? Right? So keep in mind like where you're at on the journey. If you know that every time you send out an email with a question, everybody answers, you get of all of the people that open it, you get 20% of them that actually respond. And then you send out an email and it's crickets. Well, there was something wrong there. Either they didn't get it or they didn't like it. So remember where you're at and evaluate against you. Don't evaluate against somebody else because you're not where they're at. It would be pointless to say, oh, I got no responses, so this doesn't work. Well, if you've never had a response, does it really mean that doesn't work? Maybe not. I mean, maybe you don't have the right audience. Maybe you don't have a big enough audience. Maybe you haven't been consistent. Maybe your emails aren't getting there and you need to check your whatever rate. That word. You get what I'm saying. Deliverability rate. All right. Feedback loops. Nurture and network. Uh-oh, we are done. Oh, no, I don't think I have the ending on here. All right, so nurture and network. Consistency. Oh, okay. Before I get into this, I'm so distracted. The reason I wanted to do it on here in the PDF instead of on the PowerPoint is because this is so cute. See how I read that consistency? On the PowerPoint, you only see the black one. It's not as cute. All right, but the PDF kind of annoys me. All right, so nurture and network, both. Why? Because there's only one N in vision. And I needed you to have both of them. And they're kind of related, right? You're going to nurture your network, definitely nurture your network, but you also want to nurture your current clients, any future clients, any people that are out there. I've heard a lot of people that discard or rule out people who are not ready right now. I'm not going to say don't ever, but if people aren't ready right now, it doesn't mean that they're not going to ever be ready. And maybe it's you don't have a product that is where they're at right now. It doesn't mean you won't have a product later on. So I think that a lot of times if we're congruent with our audience and our audience is telling us what they need and what they want, we can create what they need and what they want and give it to them. And then we have that, the nurturing of the audience is the only way that you're going to get the feedback loops to work to know what it is that they want. So it all kind of goes together. You need to kind of do all of it, do the whole vision, right? Vision mapping. So the vision mapping is not necessarily the visualization that you do every single morning, which you should be doing. It's actually mapping out that dream, right, to the vision. And that is something I saw on LinkedIn today, a post that I was on was talking about when you have your formula or your framework and you haven't written it down. When you have something in your head, you think you're like so organized and set and like, it back and forth. And then you start writing it down and you're like, oh my God, what was I supposed to do next? What's going here? I have this entire missing gap over here. You really see things better when you write it out. And I think the same thing is true with vision mapping. You can think it in your head all day long, but when you start writing it out and when you really start implementing on those things, again, if you're interested in the 12-week year that we're implementing with my clients, I'd love to have you on there. It's it's just one piece of everything that we do. That's just the accountability piece, but it's fun. I mean, it's exciting to have that big, huge, big, hairy, audacious goal. It's fun to have that and to think about it and to map it all the way out. I mean, just put a timer on. I did this with my clients the other day, and I don't care how many times you do this, it's never going to be exactly the same ever. So we're different today than we were yesterday. But if the last time you did it was 6 months ago or 6 years ago, imagine, right? Maybe the idea of the vision is the same. Maybe mine has changed in a year, just in my own growth. So what does yours look like? I mean, maybe yours hasn't changed. I don't know. But my guess is there are nuances, there are differences, there are little things that you didn't have in that first one that you're adding. When you don't look at it, don't read it, don't even think about it, and go from scratch and just free flow. I love that idea and a way of doing your vision. So get to it, get on it. Let's see if I wrote, looks like I have a lot of things left, but I don't. All right, visualize your end goal, identify key objectives, strategize your path, implement action steps, observe and adapt, nurture and network. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and tell you about 2 other things that, let's see, tell you about 2 other things that I have going on. One of is I'm starting on Mondays, something that I hope will be fun. It is called Content Creation Accountability, and it's free. Anybody can come to it. And what it's going to be is a couple of minutes of, training or content related something. It's content creation, something. And then it's going to be a work session where you either plan out your content for the week. If you haven't yet, you create a piece of content that you haven't yet created. You film some, whatever. It's going to be a work party. And then we're going to come in at the end and we're going to talk about, reflect on what we did, help each other if we have any questions, and that'll be it. And we're going to meet every single Monday so that we all start doing the deed, doing the content. And that's what I really, really want each and every one of you to do. So that is on Mondays. If you're interested in that, it's called Content Creation Accountability, CCA. Just chat me for that. And then the other one I wanted to tell you about is next week's Elevate and Engage. Next week's Elevate and Engage is, I cannot see this. Let's see. Cut through the noise. 7 techniques for crafting resonant content. 7 techniques for crafting resonant content. I almost changed that word because I'm like, not even I, but I liked it. And then I gave the definition in the presentation. So you'll see it then if you don't Google it before then. If you're like me, you're a Googler. Anyway, yes, I had ChatGPT help me with that title. But so cut through the noise. Where is it? Cut through the noise, 7 techniques for crafting resonant content. And I think you're really going to like what we have going on. That is next week. And yes, it's 4th of July. So if you are out barbecuing, I totally get it. Hashtag replay if you watch it on the replay. But if you are home at 11 a.m. Eastern before the barbecues, hop on. Love to see you there. Make sure you register also. It's elevateandengage.com. If you register, you'll get the Zoom link and you can get on the back end with me. We stay on sometimes and hang out in the back end, do a little bit of coaching, answer some questions, and you'll get the reminders, which is even more important. All right. Thank you so much for coming today. Have an amazing rest of your day and an awesome weekend. I will be out of Facebook for the next couple hours, but I'll see you back in.